Hey guys, this is kind of my first real talk and something I kind of just want to do. Now, if you know me, you'll know I love history, and I will talk about history for ages. And that's kind of what I'm going to do today because something's come up that kind of disturbed me. Now, if you look over there, you see that I have many models of World War II aircraft and the C-5 Galaxy of today. You can see images on my back wall over there of the F-14 and F-35. My main thing is aviation, but I love naval too. I can't show you right now because they're off camera, but over on this side, yeah, there's actually two models of a Fletcher class destroyer and a Iowa class battleship, more specifically the Missouri. So I know my World War II history and naval and aviation history, so I kind of enjoy it a lot. Now, I kind of want to talk to you because this recent news kind of disturbed me a little bit. In South Carolina, we used to go to a place called Myrtle Beach when I was really little. And while we were there, we'd go by a place called Patriots Point. If you don't know what Patriots Point is, it's basically a museum of three, not three, but four ship floating museum. Now, this museum, it consists of the only Coast Guard cutter to sink a U-boat, a Essex class carrier called the USS Yorktown CV-10, converted for jet operations, the LaFave, which is an Allen M. Summers class destroyer. Now, the LaFave was known for taking six kamikaze hits, four bombs, and being strafed while on patrol north of Okinawa. And she would not die. There's literally a book called The Ship That Will Not Die about her. And then an interesting one, the USS Clamagore. She's a bottle class submarine, as you'll see right now. Now, the bottle class submarine was a World War II submarine for the United States. A really good submarine, actually. The um, issue is the Clamagore came out in February of 1945 and actually didn't serve the war. Okay, so she was practically useless during World War II. In 1947, the Navy started upgrading the submarines with the Guppy conversions. Guppy 2s were the first real conversions. Guppies never really came out. They were kind of a test, but Guppy 2s were the first real conversions of the U.S. Navy submarine force. The Guppy 2 upgraded the electric engines and the battery cells on the ship, making it um, able to go 16 knots underneath the water compared to its original 8.7. So she went a lot faster underneath the waves than what she used to go. They also upgraded her sonar, got rid of the deck guns, and basically tossed her back out into sea. She stayed this way for 15 years, actually, until the Guppy 3s started coming out. The Guppy 3s basically all they did was upgrade the sonar and radar of the ship. So basically, kind of the same deal. She went a little slower because of the added weight, but it was a conversion to give her better sonar and radar. Nine of these ships were made of the Guppy 3s. The USS Clamagore is the last one. On January 10th, 2017, South Carolina decided they're going to scuttle the USS Clamagore. She sailed Patriots Point, but her days are numbered. Now, if you're a fan of history at all, then you'll understand why this is disturbing. It shows the mentality of our history doesn't matter. What we did in the past isn't viable today. For us to forget about it when we should learn from it. The Clamagore, we might know what Clamagore did. We might be able to see images of her. But what of our children, or people of my generation even, that haven't really been able to see her? Don't we won't know what these guppies were like. They're not popular. You read about World War II, you don't ever read about guppies. You read about Vietnam, you never read about guppies. You have to specifically take an interest in submarines and follow it to read about these guppies. But the guppy conversions we learned a lot from. They're the reasons why we have the Sea Whoops of today, the Virginias of today, the Ohios. We have those because we learned a lot from these guppy conversion submarines. And we're not going to be able to pass that along to the next generation, or my generation even, because of this. And it's a crying shame because it shows the mentality that it doesn't matter. Now, the reason they gave is because they don't have the money to repair her and put her back in the water. I call bullshit on that. I really do. Back in 2011, the LaFave was sinking. Literally. She has so many holes in her, and she might as well have been hit by 15 kamikazes. She was sinking. So, the state of South Carolina offered the citizens to donate to save the LaFave. They raised $9.2 million, and the LaFave still floats today. They were able to tow her to dry dock, repair her hull, and put her back in the water. The people do not want to see these ships sink. If you say, well, the revenue of Patriots Point is not enough, Patriots Point on the East Coast is one of the most visited naval museums out there. Plain and simple. There's actually cameras that you could go look at, live feeds of Patriot Point. I don't know what the website is, but we used to watch people at Patriots Point, and there's a lot of people that go there. A lot of people. Then, yeah, you could also make the argument of the fact that it's in mud, so when they get it out, they can't return it. Bullshit, the Texas was in mud. Now, the Texas, if you don't know anything about Texas, she is a New York class battleship from World War One. She served World War Two as well. The USS Texas was treated so badly when she became a museum that the National Park Service had to take a hold of her and save her. Basically, the wood started splintering, so what they did was they pulled up all the wood planking on the deck, replaced it all with concrete. She started listing heavily because of a hole in the side of the ship, and they couldn't repair it. So when the National Park Service got hold of it, they then decided as soon as they got her, she needs to go on dry dock. She was buried in the mud, and they forced her out of the mud after hours of struggling. And the Texas is a huge ship, about 30,000 tons, 20 to 30,000 tons, somewhere around that area. She's not light. To pull her out of that mud when she's literally sinking is near impossible. So, but they got her out. Kudos to them, they got her out. They took her to dry dock. On her way to dry dock, she was sinking. Her aft end went down 6 feet into the water. By the time that they got her to dry dock, there was only a couple feet between the aft end of the ship and the block she was supposed to sit on when the water went away. That's how bad she was. Now, if you know anything, that's catastrophic. That's when you abandon ship, to be honest. If your hull is filling up that fast with water and you're sinking that bad, you tell crew to abandon ship. In wartime, that's what you do. It could have taken her a couple hours to sink, but the issue is that is literally sinking. She is sinking at that moment. In wartime, ships did not just sink in minutes like they do in games or movies. They sink in hours. But anyways, they got the ship fixed up. They repaired her. Uh, they repaired her hull. They went ahead and did all of her planking, and then they removed her back to her mooring in Texas. And there she sits, in the same spot that they pulled her out of, in that mud. And she's still there to this day. The USS Clamagore is nowhere near as heavy, so that argument is gone. Now you can make the argument that they decided to take out her ballast tanks and pumps. That's honestly a really big one. But at that, I go ahead and point to the USS Batfish in Oklahoma. USS Batfish is a battle class submarine that is not in the water. They put her basically in this like little dug in area on land. And she sits there to this day, fully repaired. No leaks, no nothing. And what do we have that's less than maybe 200 miles away from Patriots Point? The Hunting Museum in Tennessee. Both the place that the Batfish is at and the Hunting Museum are landlocked. Actually, I think I could be wrong with the Hunting Museum one, it, but the Clamagore restoration people, they're trying to get it to Tennessee. So there are options on the table. That's what I'm trying to get at. There are options on the table, but they decide they're going to scuttle her off the coast of Miami, and that's disturbing because she's the last of her kind, and we're never going to be able to see her again. You can make the argument that we could dive down in scuba gear, but you have to be licensed for that shit. You can't just no regular smoke could go there. It's rather disturbing. And yes, she is in need of repair. I know this. But she's part of our history. And this should disturb you because what's to stop them at the Clamagore? What if the LaFave needs more repairs in the future? Or the Yorktown? What's to stop them? What's to stop the ones that overwatch the USS Hornet? Or the Intrepid? Or the Iowa? What's to stop them from letting their ships sink? What's to stop the ones at Texas from letting their ships sink? What's this one stop the ones in Alabama? Where does it end? Where does this end? And that's the issue. It won't end. Slowly but surely our history will be destroyed one at piece at a time. Whether that's aircraft, ships, or even the simplest of log cabins. One by one, it's going to be destroyed until there's nothing left. And it's a crying shame. Soon, we won't have these vessels to walk upon. We won't have the tanks to look at. We won't have the small arms to just see. The we won't have any of this. We won't have the aircraft to see at air shows because one by one it's going to get destroyed. And it's disturbing to me. It really is. It's kind of upsetting actually. If you love history, I hope you see my points. And if you are indifferent about it, go ahead and call me a crybaby. Go ahead. I just I really enjoy seeing this stuff. I enjoy 100% seeing our history. I enjoy wanting to see the world's history. But soon we won't be able to do that. Soon it'll be all taken away from us by greedy individuals that just don't want to take care of it. And I know it'll be expensive to move the things. I know it'll be expensive to repair. But the community that has these ships in their harbors have already shown they have the dedication, they have the will to raise the money themselves to save these vessels, to save their history. All I have to do is ask them. If you in any way could go see the Clamagore before they decide to sink her, do it. She's still at Patriots Point. It'll be your last chance, because in the next couple of years, we won't have her. That's it for now. I know for some of you it's going to be kind of depressing, for others you're not going to be caring at all. And I can understand that. You don't have any interest in history. I can understand that. But at least understand why this hurts me and others like me. This might become a normal thing. I don't know what my schedule will be on it. I'm still working on things. I'm getting my allergies out of the way. But that's it for now, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.